What? Hold on. I'm gonna try to get it right. Let me see what I'm doing wrong. Are we there yet? Bro, it's not. My bad. I'm not trying to give anybody a headache. I might edit that out, or I might leave it just to show you how dependent on y'all I am. All right, so yeah, we're in the house today. Not usually in the house, usually in the car. Like, that's just my vibe. Bless y'all. But we're doing things a little bit different today because we're doing things a little bit different today. Yah has tasked me with an assignment that I think is going to be a lot bigger than what I first understood. So yeah. First things first. Shalom, siblings. All blessings to the Most High. Y'all heard my shoulder? Children of the Most High, what's good? We're going to get into some things. Yah has some things that he wants to discuss with us during this season of wedding. It's wedding season, right? Like, for real, it's wedding season. Not just in the spiritual, right? As it relates to us, the people of Yah that understands everything in the spiritual, right? There's no separation for us between the natural and the spiritual. But for the sake of understanding, not only is there a spiritual wedding going on, right? There is also in the physical, people are looking at engagement rings. You hear the ads. I listen to music on SoundCloud because I like to discover new artists. That's just been a thing for me. And so I heard this ad, right, that it was talking about wedding season, and they call like March 20th, and it stuck out to me, and I still haven't done it. Thank you, Abba, for reminding me. It was talking about March 20th, like being significant for Engagement Day. I think it's like National Engagement Day. But what she said in the ad was something about, like I said, National Engagement Day, March 20th, but it's the day where the sun, basically like daylight and nighttime are the same. And I immediately remember about the portals and the sun and Enoch, and so I know I have to go back and reread that. But I wanted to say that so that I can encourage you to go do the same thing, but also just to show you as an example of how not only are the children of the book, the children of Yah, the people of light, looking at this time as wedding season, but also the world. The world is functioning with the knowledge that this is wedding season. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm going to mess with this again. And so even in that, right? I said that to say, yes, it's wedding season, right? And it's also divorce season, according to, I'm just telling you what y'all said. But what makes sense though, because usually the beginning of something is the end of something else, right? And so in this journey to the wedding, right? Not just as the virgins with the lamp, not just as the people on the street because those that invited didn't come, but also going towards that in which Yah has called us to move towards, the transition, okay? I know you've seen it. It's been buzz all around. The wealth transfer, that's a real thing. The wealth transfer, the health transfer, whatever type of transfer, right? You want to put in this little blank, right? And you want to write in, it's for real. Yah is really doing this thing for his people, right? And so he has tasked me with to come and talk about divorce today. And so that's what we are going to do. And I know a lot of people like, divorce? How's she gonna talk about divorce and yada yada? Listen to me. When I tell you that I have been filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, in order to do that in which Yah has tasked me to do, that's just what it is. You have to understand that I don't have to be qualified according to man's qualifications to discuss that in which Yah has ordained me to do. If you want to hear it, cool. If you don't want to hear it, still cool. Because who is meant to reach it will reach, even if it's just me. Even if it's just me being obedient, okay? So if you got a problem with anything that I ever say, your issue is not with me. Your issue is with the one who allowed me to say it, all right? And I've really been drinking this tea for like the last couple of days. This is still matcha and almond milk and maple syrup and is that it? Earl Grey tea. Earlier though today, and I might put a clip in it. I just be telling y'all what I be drinking, not because I think y'all care, okay, but as an act of obedience, because y'all tells me to share these things, so I share it. Earlier today, as I was driving, I had to run some errands before I came to the house after I took my daughter to school, and I was talking to our Abba, and I'm like, Abba, I need your help, I'm feeling kind of like unorganized in my thoughts as it relates to that in which you have assigned me to do today. Like, Yah has given me a lot that I have to research and combine and compile to share with us as a unit, and also to do outside of this space where we communicate. And so I'm just like, Abba, I'm just feeling like a little bit spacey. Granted, I haven't had anything to eat or drink yet, but I don't really think that's it. It's like, I just want to know how you want me to go about today. What is the order in which you want me to do that in which you want me to do? So we're talking, and so I come in the house, and I might insert a clip here. So I come in the house, and I'm talking to our Abba, and he's like, you know what I mean? Make you some golden milk. Okay, so let me tell y'all something right now. For those of you that think that Sanskrit stuff and Ayurvedic and yoga and all of that, like, let me tell you something. They got it from our Abba. He says that I have given you herbs and fruit yielding what? Seeds. So when it comes to understanding how to utilize that in which Yah has given you to utilize, man perverted it, not Yah. So I said that to say I went and made my golden milk, right? And so what did I put in it? I put in some almond milk, a little bit of maple syrup. I've been feeling maple syrup here lately. Some cinnamon, some fennel. When I crushed it up, I'll put everything in the video. And I crushed it up, and I made my tea, and I felt so centered, right? Centered. Oh, did she say centered? Isn't that a yogic expression? No, that means my Abba gathered me and I was able to think clearly. Anyway, so I sat and I drank my golden milk, and after that, like I said, I felt centered, I felt ready, I felt organized, and I was like, oh, Abba, thank you for the nourishment in which you have provided. I'm saying that now. I should have said it then. Thank you, Abba, for the nourishment in which you provided. And allowing me to move in agreement. You have to understand that you are a dynamic person, right? A dynamic being. There's more to you than just what you see in a mirror reflection or on the camera. And we are responsible, and this will be in another video, for taking care of all of us, right? So being centered and understanding what your entire being, what the world likes to call holistic, right? Being responsible for your entire being, your spirit, the way that your mind is thinking, the way that your body is moving, mobility and function, wisdom and knowledge and understanding, emotional well-being, what's your peace, like all of these, we are responsible for self in every aspect of self, every level of self, okay? And so after I had the golden milk and nourished myself with the things that I placed in it, it helped my mind to connect with my purpose for the day, to connect with my ability to do what Yah has tasked me with, and also allowed me to hear Yah more clearly because I was moving in peace. Okay. So after I did that, I was able to understand what Yah wanted me to do in that moment, which is what I'm going to share with us right now. And so this will be called Premarital Lessons. And I think this is going to be a series, like, because Yah has like, yo, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about that. And so for the next, I don't know, however long, I'm like trying to schedule my workout according to Yah's agenda for me, because it's like first things first, get to what I said do, and then after that workout, then after that go to the grocery store, then after that cook, then after that clean up, then after that I need to wash my hair, then after that wash your hair. It's like I have to do this first, and I don't know how long I'm going to be doing it. It's very exciting. Let's get into it. I think this is the title for this series, but I know for sure it's the title of this video, Premarital Lessons from a Single Woman of Yah. And our topic for today is divorce, okay? And I knew he was serious when he brought me back to the notebook. When the last time y'all seen me write something down? Come on. You guys not playing. Okay, so there are some things, right? People, places, desires, and experiences that need to go before you, I, us, we, okay, as a collective, Yashrael, children of Yah, people of Yah, us, right? Together as a collective and also separate as individual. There are some things, some experiences, some desires, some places in our hearts, some people in our lives that we that have to go before we will be allowed to unify, participate, even see. Okay, Moses was left on the mountain. Don't think that just because Yah's been blessing you and keeping you up until this point that Moses got left on the mountain. He didn't get to go. Okay, so for us to even be able to see, contribute, participate, or witness certain aspects, characteristics, levels, and promises of our Abba. Okay, so there's some things that gotta go in order for us to go. All right, and so we're going to talk about 1 Samuel chapter 6. We're gonna go there. All right, so 1 Samuel chapter 6. The ark of Yahuwah had been in the land of the Philistines for 7 months. The Philistines called upon the priests and the sorcerers, saying, "What shall we do about the ark of Yahuwah? Inform us how we should send it back to its place." Divorce. How? Tell us, right? Okay. Call upon the priests and the sorcerers so they can let us know how we can divorce Yah. How can we divorce our relationship with Yah through the ark of Yahuwah? They replied, "If you are sending back the ark of Elohim," well, it says the ark of the God of Israel, but the ark of Yah or the ark of God of Israel, whatever you need today, you must not send it back empty-handed. Okay? Now, this is just, okay, understand that, like I said, man has perverted Yah's original everything, even down to divorce. Do you see how the laws of divorce are here? Like, people like you can't be divorced. But how, if we can't be divorced, we aren't supposed to be divorced. How is it that man's law according to divorce is it's here? Don't send it back empty-handed. When people get divorced, what do? They split their stuff. Anyway, don't send it back empty-handed, but you must certainly send it back with a guilt offering to Yahuwah. Then you will be healed, and you will realize why his hand would not turn away from against you. Why wouldn't Yah stop doing what he was doing in your life? Why was it so hard? Why was it so rough? Then you'll be able to understand that when you send a guilt offering with the ark. When you do this divorce, and you do this divorce according to the will of Yah, then you will understand why what happened had to happen in order for you to be set free. Then you will be healed, is what the verse says. Verse 4. So they said, "What is the guilt offering that we should send back to him?" Him who? Yah. They answered, these are their priests and their sorcerers. They answered, "According to the number of the Philistine governors, 5 golden images of hemorrhoids and 5 golden mice." If you're not familiar with what was happening, these people were being disrespectful, rightfully so, though, and we'll get into that later. The Philistines were being disrespectful because they had the Ark of Yah. They had the Ark of the Covenant, had no business having the Ark of the Covenant, and had no business putting the Ark of the Covenant where they put it. Sometimes we have no business slapping Yah's name on people, places, things, thoughts, ideas, environments, and desires, and we do it. And it's chaos and it's wreaking havoc all throughout that thing. And so they're in response to what they had done. Yah had struck them with hemorrhoids. And the mice, when they went to relieve themselves, would eat at their hemorrhoids. I'm just telling you what it said. All right. We're still in verse 4. This is the latter part of verse 4. "For the same plague is upon all of you and upon your governors. Make your images of hemorrhoids and your images of mice, which are demolishing the country, and give them as homage to the Elohim of Yashrael. Perhaps he will alleviate his hand from upon you and your gods and your land." Wait, am I right? Yeah. Verse 6, "Why should you harden your hearts as Egypt and Pharaoh hardened their hearts?" And these are people, okay, so thank you, Abba. We also are going to have to get into an understanding that when we read scripture, these are not the only people that were in the world. It was what it was still people all over, okay? All over everywhere, people all over everywhere. And Yah has revealed himself to each and every nation. Don't you dare think that he hasn't. Because then you would be able to justly call him unfair. And you can never do that. You can never say that Yah didn't justly make himself known and give everybody equal opportunity to adhere to his word. You'll never be able to say that, okay? Because these are the Philistines talking. These are the Philistines talking about what Yah did in Egypt. So they were fully aware of our Abba, fully aware of what he did and how he operates when his people are moving in obedience according to purpose and function. They knew. And you know who else knew? Everybody else. When you read scripture, they talk about, who was that? Was that Rahab? Was it Rahab? Abba? I don't want to say it was Rahab if I want Rahab, but I believe it was her. Do your due diligence and fact check me. But I believe it was Rahab that, yep, because she was in the wall, right? And is that? I think it was Rahab when doing the walls of Jericho, and she came out and was like, what's up? Like, why y'all? We already know what type of time your Elohim is on. We know already. His fame, is it precedes? Yep, precedes him. Like, we've heard about, before y'all got here, before y'all was on what y'all on right now, we had already heard about how great, how mighty, how powerful, how serious he is when it comes to y'all. The world knew. Just like now, the world knows. All right, let's get back to the wizard. Okay. Right, verse 6, why should you harden your hearts as Egypt and Pharaoh hardened their hearts, right? Did it not happen that when Yah mocked them, they had to send the Yashreelites forth and they left? Question mark. Like, you seen with yourself, or if you didn't see, you heard with your own ears about what happened. When Yah did what he did and then the Yashreelites had to leave, y'all know what happened to Egypt. And that's ourselves. We do that. We will see how disobedience plays out in the lives of others, right? We'll see it with our own eyes, or we'll hear about it because you know people gossip because you know she and you know he and you know they. And it's like, well, I woulda, shoulda, coulda, dida if I was in that situation, right? And then Yah places you in a situation for you to be obedient to him, and what you do the same thing, right? Why should you harden your heart? Did it not happen? Then when they hardened their heart, Yah did a thing. And so now you've hardened your heart and think that Yah is not going to do a thing because you slapped his name on what you did. We'll get into that later too. All right. So now, verse 7, take materials and make one new wagon and take 2 nursing cows upon which a yoke was never placed, right? Brand new. Don't try to give Yah nothing old. Give Yah that which is just due him. The same way he tells you, give Caesar what's his. What else does he say? Give me what's mine. And send their calves back home from behind them. Take the ark of Yahuwah and place it up on the wagon and put the golden objects that you are sending back to him as a guilt offering in the box at its side. Okay? And what else? All right. So that's when we're talking about divorce. We're talking about not only the reasons for divorce, thank you, Abba, but the necessity of divorce. And we're not just talking about, oh, I'm divorcing a person, right? Because that's a part of it too. I'm not only divorcing a person, but I'm also divorcing the person I was when I married that person. Do you understand that? Because you married that person out of disobedience. Because you weren't even who you were supposed to be. So how are you going to marry someone who is? You can't. It's impossible. Because our Abba says what? How can 2 walk together unless they be agreed? That person that you married is in some way, shape, or form, if not all of them, a reflection of you. A reflection of your mindset, a reflection of your self-esteem, a reflection of what you think you deserve, who you are, who you thought you wanted to be, who you thought you were at that time. Like, what your focus was. That person is a reflection, a walking, talking reflection of you. And it is what it is. And if Yah is calling you to not be that person anymore, right? Yah is calling you to divorce that previous version of you, that version of you that existed according to world standard, that version of you that existed according to traditions, that version of you that existed according to your own mindset, that version of you that existed due to disobedience, that version of you that was not adhering to the word of Yah. Yah is calling you to divorce that person and the things that are attached to it. The desires that person had, the experiences that person had, that place, the places that that person was going or even wanted to go, the things that that person was attached to, it is time to sign your name. I've never seen a divorce, but I'm assuming that that's what you have to do because it's a legal document, right? In scripture, Yah calls it a bill of divorce, right? And we tend to, right, due to mindsets that were given to us. I guess we can go into this now. No, I'm gonna keep it how you lined it up. Yeah, we'll talk about the mindset that creates the lifestyles in which we have adopted as our own. In order to adopt something, it has to not be yours from the jump, and we have adopted it as our own, but it never was our life to begin with. It was never that in which Yah had ordained and created divinely for us to have. All right, so we read 1 Samuel 6 to talk about divorce. Now we're going to get into 1 Samuel chapter 7. Yah says verses 3 through 14. After the divorce, okay? So as you are pondering, right, this idea, this task of divorce, and wondering how it applies to you, if it applies to you, fast and pray, first and foremost. And in fasting and praying, and this is something I was just talking to my baby girl about the other day. In fasting and praying, when Yah reveals to you his answer, just because you are uncomfortable with it does not mean that that's not what he said. Just because it goes against everything you thought you knew doesn't mean that that's not what he said. Just because it makes you unhappy, you aren't satisfied, it wasn't what you want, it's hard, it hurts, it's embarrassing, that does not negate the fact that Yah said what he said. You fast and prayed, requested and got an answer. That doesn't, if you don't like the answer, doesn't mean that you didn't get one. Hallelujah. All right, 1 Samuel chapter 7, verse 3 from, I'm lying to you, Samuel. That's how it starts. Samuel said to the entire house of Yashrael, saying, if you are returning unto Yahuwah with all your hearts, then remove the foreign gods and the Asheroth from your midst, and direct your hearts to Yahuwah. Those things in which you have placed in front of Yah, including yourself. Some of us, Yashrael, some of us got to divorce our children, okay? Because we have placed them before Yah, all right? This is not just, oh, I got to divorce my husband, or I have to divorce my wife. You might got to divorce your mama. You might have to divorce your daddy. You might have to divorce your great aunt. You might have to divorce your job. You might have to divorce your children. You might have to divorce your dog. You might have to divorce your Pilates class, okay? That which has taken place of our Abba. Well, I would never put any of those things before Yah, but you do, and you need to check with him on how you are doing so, if you are doing so. Okay? And in that, it might not necessarily mean, oh, these people or these things are cut off. It might mean the person that you were or the person that you are being in response to them has to be cut off. Okay? It could go either way. I'm not saying that you need to stay with your husband. I'm not saying that you need to stay with your wife. I'm not saying you don't need to leave your husband, and I'm not saying that you don't need to leave your wife. I'm saying fast and pray. And I'm giving you the words in which Yah has given me to help your understanding that divorce, because we hear the word divorce, and because of Christian tradition, we're like, oh my gosh, divorce? I should never. It's like, it's the ultimate sin, bro. You better do what Yah says do, regardless of what you think or what man thinks. It's obedience over sacrifice at all times. And if Yah is telling you to cut it, then you need to cut it, cut it, cut. You need to cut it. Or them. Okay? All right, back. I'm going to read verse 3 again. Samuel said to the entire house of Yashrael, saying, if you are returning unto Yahuwah with all your hearts, then remove the foreign gods and the Ashereth from your midst, and direct your hearts to Yahuwah, serving him alone. Then he will rescue you from the hand of the Philistines. So the children of Yashrael removed the Baalim and the Asheroth and served Yahuwah alone. Yes, we had those idols in our midst, and we still do it. There is still Baalim and Asheroth in the midst of the people of Yashrael. It has just been given new names. Corporations, mortgages, car payments, designer, labels, furniture, jewelry. What else? How we going off? Let's go then. What else? Looks, workout classes. It's shown up in husbands. It's shown up in wives. You married them and stayed with them to prove a point to other people. It had nothing to do with y'all. What else, Abba? Oh, how you raising your children? You want to brag on them children, but bragging on them, what happened? Job had to get up and pray because he knew his children were wicked. Your children are wicked. Stop bragging on them. What else? Anything else? Your abilities, your capabilities. Yeah, you're good at what you do, but you're only good at what you do because Yah allows you to be good at it. Stop playing with him. For he take it away. Okay. Baalim and Asheroth. There's still Baalim and Asheroth within the camp. This contamination, this plague has to go. And Yah has given us the opportunity to do it ourselves. Because if he has to come do it, it's gonna be some trouble. Because the world is worlding according to function. The issue isn't with the world. We look at the world, right, and we be like, Yah gonna deal with that. Yeah, he is, but he's also putting belt in the camp as well. Yes, Yah is going to deal with that. But that is a result of us not moving how we're supposed to be moving. If we were doing what we were supposed to be doing from the jump, okay? If we are moving according to function and purpose as a royal priesthood, as we have been called to be, we would be judging the earth. It's our standards, okay? It would be our standards they would have to adhere to the way that we were moving. And if you notice, if you notice, I guess it's a 2-part video because we already at 28 minutes. If you notice though, right, just looking at the world from a worldly critical eye, every other culture, right, every other group of people wants to be like the people of Yah. They want our hair. They want the way that we talk. They want the way that we dress. They want the way that we raise our children. From the beginning, though. I'm talking about from a cultural aspect, right? Now, let's just look at it historically. There was a reason why mammies existed. It wasn't just because, slave masters and owners didn't have time to raise their children. They could have got a nanny from somewhere else. Could have got a French nanny, could have got an Italian nanny. They didn't need the mammy, the slave one. But there was a standard that the children of Yashrael adhered to that made the slave owners say, their children don't do what our children do. Their children don't act like our children act. Could it be something in the breast milk? Or could it be in the way that they raise their children? Bring them in here so they can raise our children like they raise their children. Because they move in order and in function when it comes to their children. Even now, in the midst of all this chaos and destruction and the way that our culture has been pulled from us, there are still some values in people of color, right, that just are non-negotiables. Even when we're moving in wickedness, it's certain things that our children just not playing with what their mamas about, not playing with their moms about, not playing with their grandmoms about, not playing with their aunties about. They just not playing. You can get the most decorated, and by decorated I mean tatted up. Certain tattoos mean certain things, so if you know, you know. The most decorated, wicked man or woman, and talk about their grandma. You got tears. You getting yes ma'am, no ma'am. I'm talking about a killer type killer. Been a killer since I was a little. Been killing. I started off killing flies and I just escalated type killer. But if his grandma come up in there and tell him sit down, don't talk while she talking, I bet you he do it. I bet you she does it. Are there exceptions? Yes, absolutely. But for the most part, there's just a level of respect that goes on that is just in the people of Yah. Okay? There's a reason for that. As disconnected as we are, Yah isn't allowing to us to be severed from him. Okay, Abu, go off then. Another worldview. If you look at, like I said, different cultures in the world as it relates to melanated people of Yah, right? Because there are people of Yah that of other cultures, so I just want to clarify. Melanated people of Yah, specifically the so-called black people. You look in Korea, there is a surge of locks going on. There, I don't even know how they're making lock hair, but they're making lock hair over there because people, they want to have locks. Okay? Where else, especially in Asia, you look at what the quote-unquote hip-hop culture, which is not our culture, and we're going to talk about that later, but you quote-unquote hip-hop culture, which is associated with blacks, they're wearing the clothes, and it might not even be up to date. They might be wearing stuff from 95, but bro, this is black culture. You listen to how they're speaking. I know people who learned English from rap music, of the rap music, hip-hop, but from black artists, not just hip-hop, because hip-hop is, you know what I mean, a global thing, but from black artists in hip-hop. Learned English. You understand what I'm saying? So you see that culture, you see it all over. You see people all over reflecting the quote-unquote black culture, the style of dress, the hair, the injections, the lifts, like I said, the way we talk, the way we dress, the way we act, as it is promoted. The way that black culture is promoted around the world, people want to be that. That's been a thing. Nations have been wanting to be that in which we are. Okay? Which is a problem now. Okay, Abba, so what else? Because that was a lot. And so bring it all in. We got to understand that we don't need to be like anyone else. We have to be like who Yah has called us to be. And we have to stop trying to feel like we are obligated to put on to be this being that is widely accepted. We were created to be set apart. And we were created to be a royal priesthood that set the standard for everyone else. And everyone else knows that. It just seems like we're lacking in that understanding, which is why we move according to how other people tell us to move, how mainstream tells us to move, how these principalities tell us to move, when really the alignment is here. Verse 5, then Samuel said, gather all of Yashrael to Mizpah, and I will pray to Yahuwah for you. So they gathered at Mizpah. They drew water and poured it out before Yahuwah and fasted on that day. They said there, we have sinned to Yahuwah. And Samuel judged the children of Yashrael at Mizpah. I learned a new word today. And it is adjudicate, right? Adjudicate means to make an official decision about who is right, to settle things judiciously or judicially. Who is our judge? Who is our judge? Yahuwah is our judge. I think I'm going to cut the video here because it's at 34 minutes.